Hello, hello, hello. It's Julia from the Paper and Ink Boutique. Thank you for joining me. I shouldn't put my glasses on like that because it makes my hair go all weird. Anyhow, thanks for joining me. It is Monday night. It is September 19th. This is Monday Night Live, and I am Julia from the Paper and Ink Boutique. And here I am in my craft room. Hi, Charlene. How are you? Hi, Julie. Thank you for joining me. So tonight, I originally said it was going to be about mica, the Distress Mica Crayons. But then I thought, well, I've got the Distress Mica stains that match the crayons. So I'm bringing those in as well. Hi, Linda. I feel like I just saw you, Linda, which I did earlier today. Okay, so let's get started. It's about mica stains and mica crayons from Distress. So let me flip over to my overhead camera. Give me one moment. Let's flip. Perfect. There we go. Just going to lower my camera just a smidge. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Melanie. Okay, so camera is in place. Okay, so this is what I want to talk about. Distress crayons. This is Halloween sets 3 and 4. So I'm trying to remember which one is which. Okay, set 4. This is set 4. This is set 3. So last year there was sets 1 and 2, and now we have sets 3 and 4. So 3 is this one, and you've got Harvest Moon, Burning Ember, and Iron Gate mica stains. And there we go. We also have the crayons, the mica crayons, Burning Ember, Iron Gate, Harvest Moon. So that's set 3. Set 4, Wicked Elixir, Decayed, and Fortune Teller. And then we also have the Distress crayons in the exact same colors: Decayed, Wicked Elixir, and Fortune Teller. Now, we got the mica stains in first. So we've already had those for a few weeks. And I did a demo on them the day we released them. And I don't know if anyone remembers that, but I sprayed all of the colors on tags. And then I had colors left over on my mat. So I actually grabbed a piece of rice paper. We sell sheets of rice paper at the store. They're 15 by 15 inches, and I think they're $1. I want to say they're $1. So I had all of these colors, and it was these 3 colors on my mat. And I'm like, oh, they're just so beautiful. I don't want to just wipe them up on a baby towel, on a baby wipe. So I grabbed a piece of rice paper, sopped them up, did a little bit more spraying, and then I got the rice paper. So this piece of rice paper has actually been cut into 4 pieces. Okay. So when I got home tonight, I actually grabbed a couple of those pieces, and I decided to use this die set from Honeybee, and it's called Fall Foliage, Lovely Layers Fall Foliage. So I grabbed that. I grabbed some of my rice paper that had been sprayed with the mica stain, and I cut these out. How beautiful is that? Now, what I like is on one side, you've got the mica stain, see the shimmer, and on the other side, you just have the color, no mica. It doesn't soak through on the rice paper. So I love it because if I wanted to use this mica shimmery side, I could, or I could flip it over and use those. So I just wanted to share those with you because these are super, super beautiful. So those are leaves. Not sure what I'm going to use them for, but I just had fun die cutting them out, and I thought, oh, those are absolutely pretty. So before we get into the crayons, let me just do a quick demo on the stains. So let's use this one. So these colors are the ones on here, the ones that I had on my rice paper. Okay, that's all 3 colors. So I know some people, when they get 3 colors, they're not exactly sure how they want to use them. How do I use all 3? You don't have to use all 3. You could use one independently of another. You can just put 2 together. You can do all 3. Independently, they are amazing. They're very pretty. And I'm just going to shake this up because there is the mica in there. Just going to shake that up. Because if you look at the bottom, the mica settles. You can see there's a clump of it there. So there is a mixing bowl in there. So I usually just shake it around and around and around until all that mica gets mixed up. That one's good. Iron Gate. And sometimes if you don't hear that ball around in there, it usually means it's stuck in the mica. So you just have to give it a tap. There, I can hear it now. And I'm going to do them just a round and around and around and get that mica mixed up in there. Hi, Arlene. How are you? They actually do look like real leaves. And what I love about this die set, let me bring it back in. So if you look, see all the veins? That actually makes the impression. It's a little bit harder to see on the rice paper. You probably can't see it on camera, but because the rice paper is so thin, you don't get a real definition to it. But if you were using this on a thicker paper, you would be able to see it. But there is, you can see the veins and the detailing in there. It doesn't show up on camera too well, but it is there. Okay, so how to use the mica spray. Am I going to spray all 3 at the same time? I usually start with yellow. I love yellow as a base. Now, one thing I do want to point out, and I think this is absolutely brilliant. If I open this up, see how that's curved around? That means it's hopefully going to prevent it from getting clogged with the mica. Okay, I love that. Absolutely love it when I saw that. Okay, so I sprayed my yellow. You can see I kind of sprayed it. While it's still wet, I'm going to go in with the burning ember. That's what that one is. Burning ember. Ooh, that's gorgeous. I'm going to come back in with a bit more yellow. Oh, just look how gorgeous that is. It's so pretty. I love it. Okay. And then what I'm going to do. No, I love that. I love spraying directly on. Yeah, that's gorgeous. Now you can spray it with a little bit of water. See what that does. That is delicious. I'm going to set that one there for a moment. I'm going to grab another tag. So that was spraying directly on the tag, but you can also put it on your mat and do the dip and smush. So you can see, look at this one, very intense dark colors. This one's a little bit lighter because we've added water to it. This isn't just the mica directly out of the bottle. That's fantastic. Gonna dry this. Not completely dry, but it's dried in the middle. So I'm going to just come in and I'm just going to tap it again. And that is so pretty. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this color. I'm going to leave this like that. And I'm going to add a couple of sprays. There we go. Of the Iron Gate. Okay. Let's add a bit more water. Okay. Let's give this a dry. I just love this. I love being able to dry it and dip it and keep getting different layers and gorgeousness. Love it. So pretty. so I'm going to hold this up. So see what the dipping does when I dipped it in that iron gate? It kind of gives me these really cool kind of, I want to call it veins, but it's not veins, but you know what I mean. Like I just dip it in and you can just kind of manipulate it. Look how gorgeous that is. And you can see that mica shine on there. That's fantastic. Now I'm not going to dip this one in, but what else you can do is you can open these up. I'm going to open the iron gate, and I'm actually going to do drips and drops on this one. Okay. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? The mica stains are stunning. I'm just going to say that. So I'm just going to set these aside. I'm going to come back to these in a little bit, but I am going to set them aside and let them dry. So just give me a moment. Just going to set those here. Okay, so now I've got all these colors. You remember the leaves that I did? Remember these? And I said one side has the mica and the other side doesn't. So let's just dip these in there. Let's see what happens. Because I hate to waste the color. Hate to waste the color. Oh, that's gorgeous. Now it's rice paper, so it's very flimsy. I'm going to set that there. Because some of these colors, like this one is very yellow. Maybe I want to put a little bit more color in that. I'm just going to drag that through. Oh, yes, that is gorgeous. So here is that rice paper. Remember I said one side mica, one side not. I could come in with the non-mica side of this. And look, I'm just cleaning it up with the rice paper. Isn't that amazing? I'm going to squish it and crunch it. And now I've picked up some more of that color, and that is even more gorgeous. Look at that. That is going to make some fantastic leaves. Okay, so I'm going to set those aside. Let me take these wet leaves, set them down here. And let's clean up. Whew. So the micas are really, really gorgeous. Now, you don't have to just use micas. You can use them together with the other sprays. So you can use them with the Distress spray stains. You can use them with the oxides. You don't have to use the mica stains just on their own. You can mix them. Now, I didn't get out any of the other sprays, so I can't do that right now. But I am going to use these three colors so you can see what these three colors in this set looks like. So let me just grab another tag. And these are the Dina Wakley tags. I didn't say that. These are the Dina Wakley tags, and these are the size 8, not the 10s. I have been using the 10s, and those are the big tags. These are the 10s. I have been using these, but I'm switching over to these tonight. These are the size 5, just in case you're wanting to know what I'm using. Okay, so we've got green, we've got kind of a silvery color, and fortune teller, which is purple. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Like I said, you want to get all that beautiful mica mixed in with your liquid, because that's really what makes, so you can see this one, how it's all gathered at the bottom. The mica does separate. And decayed. Okay, now this one I'm actually going to start with this color. Am I? No, I'm not going to start with that color. Let's start with green. Ooh. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Look how gorgeous that is. There's that one. Not completely dry. I'm going to let it dry on their own, but look at that. Beautiful. That's spraying directly on the tag. I'm going to set that one aside. Okay, so now let's take a tag and do the dip. Well, that's easier said than done. Okay, here we are. Grab the tag. So I'm actually going to take the green first. I'm very careful with the green and the purple because it's really easy to make mud. So I'm just going to mainly start with the green to begin with, because I don't really want to make mud quickly. Perfect. That's good. Ooh, beautiful. Going to give this a dry. That is nice. That is really nice. Okay, so I'm just going to do some dipping. I'm not really going to add a whole lot more of the sprays. I've got quite a bit on there. I just wanted to add more green because I wanted green to be my base. And you can keep going and keep adding. Just keep dipping, using up that ink. You don't want to waste it until you get a nice looking tag like that. That is gorgeous. Yeah, the mica sprays are stunning. Okay, I'm not going to dry that completely. I'll come back to it in a minute, but you can see that. You can see as I tip it in the light, that beautiful mica, giving it that beautiful shimmer color. Okay, I'm going to set that one aside. Let me clean this up, and then let's start talking about the mica crayons. Now, the Distress crayon line, I can't remember when they first came out, but I've had Distress crayons, for quite some time. I have a few. I don't have all of them, but I do have a few. So there is a difference between Distress crayons and Distress mica crayons. And the one is, let me just grab the crayons here. These ones obviously have a shimmer to them because they have mica. So the mica sprays, let me just grab a regular Distress crayon. Okay, this one is Ripe Persimmon. Now, if you notice on here, it doesn't say Distress Mica Crayon. It just says Distress Crayon, just like this one does. Okay. How you tell them apart is the lid on the mica one is a bit shimmery. I don't know if you can see that compared to the other one. It's just regular. It may not show up on camera too well. But the things you can do with a Distress crayon and a Distress mica crayon are the same. It's just that one has mica and one doesn't. So let me grab my samples here that I made before I went live. This is Stencil Butter. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So I did this one with the mica crayons. Stamped my image, colored it in, stamped it again to get the detail back. So I'm going to show you how to do this. This one was, I used a stencil and I put it through my die cut machine, and it actually impressed it into my paper. And then I used the Distress crayons. You kind of lose a bit of the detail. So it's more of an abstract look than a really sharp looking like a stamped image, but I love it. I still love it. Now I finished this one just before I went live, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a black micron pen, maybe a gray micron pen, and add in some details just on the branches there, so you can see them. But let's start with this one here. Okay. So how I did that one, let me grab a tag. Let me grab my stamp platform. Okay, bringing in my stamp platform. If anyone wants to know what stamp this is, it is this one from All in Create. There we are, All in Create, and it's 206. And I believe we still have this one in stock. It just came in late last week. So that one is 206. But the one I'm going to work on live is, I think I'm going to use this one. I am really loving these lotus. I think they're lotus. I don't know. No, dahlia. Sorry. It even says right on there. I was really torn between this one and that one. Don't really know. There you go. I think I'm going to do this one. I'm so torn. Actually, let's go back to this one. It is so pretty. I love this one. Okay, so I'm going to get that out of the way. Oops. What I am going to do, got my sticky mat in my Misty. I'm actually going to use that. Okay, so because I've got the grid Misty, I'm actually going to line it up. And no, let's go right up against here, right at the 7-inch. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take my stamp, my All in Create stamp. I'm going to lay it on. Sorry, my head keeps bumping my camera. Hopefully I'm not making anyone ill with the movement. Okay, perfect. Just going to put my magnets on there. This is, sorry, I'm just going to show this. Wendy's asking what this mat is, and this is actually the My Sweet Petunia or the Misty Sticky Grid Mat, and it comes in a set of 3. I just have this one in there, and what's nice about it is it will hold your paper in place. And what is really great about it is it comes in 3 different grid sizes, but they all fit the original Misty. And if it loses its stickiness, all you have to do is just wash it off and it becomes sticky again. So it's really great. I like it. Okay. Sorry, my bar magnet. I'm trying to get my bar magnet to go back together here. There we go. Okay, just going to stick my bar magnet in there. I want to make sure it does not move because I do need to stamp this again. Okay, perfect. I'm going to use a permanent ink. So this is my Gina K Amalgam ink, but you could also use an archival ink, something that it will become permanent. Okay, so I'm just going to ink that up. Now this doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to go over it again to get the details back once I color it. So it doesn't have to be perfect right now. I don't need to waste my time and ink making it perfect. Just need enough lines on there that will allow me to color it in. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to leave my stamp in my stamp platform. Stamp's going to stay there. What I'm going to do now is I am actually going to take this entire thing out. Set that aside. Now it is still on my sticky mat, but what I want to do, here we are. I'm going to take my gel medium, take that off. Quick blast of heat. We just want to make sure that that ink is not going to move. I'm going to take gel medium and I'm going to cover up my image with the gel medium. And the reason I'm going to do that is it's going to allow the crayons to move on the paper. I'm going to be able to move it. And I'll show you the difference with paper that has matte medium on it and paper that doesn't. So let me just okay, let me clean my hands up. So this one has been covered in matte medium. If I was to take a tag that doesn't have the gel medium on it, let me take one of the crayons. I'm just going to take it and I'm going to put it on my tag. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to smudge it, but you can see it doesn't smudge very far, and you can actually see where I put the original scribble of crayon on there. Because this is a porous surface, even though it is a crayon, it doesn't have any wax properties, so it is going to sink into the paper and you're not going to be able to get much movement to it. Okay, so the reason what you want to cover it is it allows the crayons to float over the matte medium. So I could put it on my finger like this and do that, but again, it doesn't go very far, right? So you can do it like that. You get certain looks with it like that, and that's fine. But I'll show you the difference by covering it in the matte medium. Just got to make sure it's dry first. Still a little sticky. Perfect. Okay, so let's take a crayon. So this one on my flower, I used the Burning Ember and the Harvest Moon on this flower. I'm actually going to do the purple on this one. Okay. So you can either put your crayon on your mat and pick it up with a water brush. That's what I'm using here, is a water brush. So you can either do that, pick it up, and then put it on your image. And it really moves quite nicely over top of that matte medium. But you can see you don't get a very dark color. So how I like to do it is I like to take my crayon and go directly onto my paper. There we go. So now I'm going to take my water brush again. And I'm just going to come in with the water. And now you can see that that is moving freely over that gel medium. And it just moves so easy. There we go. It does not take a lot of water. It really doesn't. I've used a lot of water. I can see it sitting on there. There's quite a bit of it. But there you go. You can see how easy that went on. Now, I went outside the lines a little bit. I did that on purpose because if you do that, because we've put the gel medium on, I can actually go in and wipe that color back. So there was some purple outside of the lines. I didn't want it there, so I went in with a baby wipe and wiped it back. And that's another good thing about the gel medium. Okay, so let me dry this. Okay, so there was a lot of water on there, and when I took my my heat tool, you can see it went outside the lines again. Well, I'm just going to go in with my baby wipe. Just going to clean up that edge. And there you go. Wiped it back. So the gel medium just gives you a nice, not gel medium, matte medium, gel medium, gives you a protective surface. So it does give you some working time to pull things away. Okay, so that's good. I like it. It's fabulous, but I'm going to add in just a bit more color. Now, I'm not going to squeeze this again because this is pretty damp on the end, so I'm not going to squeeze out any water. I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to start pulling that crayon just kind of up into the rest of the flower. Okay. Maybe I add some onto the side there. Coming up here, maybe in the middle, maybe along the top. Now I know some of you are artists and you're probably like, oh, if the sun was coming from the east and my shadow should be there. Yeah, that's fine. I don't do that. I just like to get the color down. There you go. Oh, love it. Love, love, love. Look how gorgeous that is. I love it. Okay. See how easy that was? And it's fun. It is so much fun. Let me wipe up that color there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in. I've got the green, and I think I'm going to, no, I'm going to use the green and yellow, and I'm going to come in with, I used Iron Gate on this one, so on this one I'm going to use Decayed. I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. So let me come in with the green and yellow. So I'm just going to color in. I'm not being like too crazy complicated about it. Adding some green. Let's add in, oops, roll that up. Let's add in some yellow. Let's maybe do this one yellow and yellow down there. That's good. Just going to clean off my brush because it has purple on the bristle. So I'm just going to clean that up. Okay, and I'm going to come in. I'm just going to start moving those colors around a little bit. Just going to do green first, then I'll clean the bristles. So as I'm doing the green, I'm picking up some of the color and I'm just going to add it in other little spots. Not a lot, just taking some of that color, maybe just adding a bit here and a bit there. I do want to leave lots of white space. I don't want to color everything in. There we go. Let's do some of that. Perfect. Clean off my bristles, get any green crayon pigment off of there. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to do the same with the yellow. Just going to work that around into those spots. Maybe have a bit of yellow down there. Do this yellow up here. So I'm not going too crazy with it. There we go. So just added a bit of color. That's really pretty. And like I said, at this point, if I'm like, I think that's too yellow, what I can do is I can come in with my baby wipe. Let me get a clean spot. Like maybe it's like, oh, that's too much yellow. I'm going to come in. I'm just going to tap. Just going to tap that. And now I've lightened it up. Maybe this one too is like, that's too yellow. I'm just going to tap it and I'm going to lift that yellow off of there. So it's really easy when you've got that protective barrier of the gel medium on there to come in and kind of like, no, I don't like that. I'm going to clean that up a little bit, or yeah, that's not working for me. But if this was unprotected paper like this one, you can't come in and wipe that away. It lifts it, but it doesn't remove it. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, so there we go there. Now nope, not that one. This one, decayed. I'm going to bring that one in, and I am just going to add a bit of color just in a few spots here. And I'm going to do the same thing. Grab this is a different one. There we go. Move that color around. Same up here. Maybe I drop a little bit there. This one, I need a little bit more water. There we go. Okay. There we go. I am liking that. That's beautiful. I love it. Okay. Perfect. Gorgeous. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like I did in this one, I'm going to take, this is decayed again, and I am going to just go around my edges. Now, remember, I covered this in the matte medium, so I can come in with my finger and I can move that crayon around just with the heat of my finger, running it over top of that now dry gel medium, that protective barrier that I put on my paper. Look at how easy that is to manipulate. So much fun. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I am like seriously in love with Distress Crayons. All right, so I'm going to fill this in. And again, just going in with my finger, not being too crazy about it. Just put a little bit more. And you can see how easily it moves. You don't have to put on a lot to get it to move. And like I said, it's the heat of your finger that is going to make this really move across that matte medium. I've got one little spot here, so I'm going to add in a little bit there. But how much fun is that? I'm going to add a little bit more. I want it darker around this edge because I want to show you one more technique. Let me just rub that in because I can't do this and not show you a technique with a stencil. I can't not show a stencil. Okay, so let me clean that up. Okay, so this is set 53. So this is one of the new ones, and it comes with these 3 stencils here. Love the rose one. That's the one I used here. That's the one I used there. I'm going to show you that one in a minute. It also has this one, which is great. I'm not going to use that one tonight, though. And this one. Isn't that fabulous? That's the one I used on. Oh, actually, I am going to use that one. What do I know? So this is the stencil that I used on this one. And this is using Stencil Butters. Isn't that delicious? Oh, that's gorgeous. I love it. If I have time at the end, I'll show you how I did that one. So let's bring in this stencil. Okay. Love the X's. Going to use the X's on this. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you took out your washies and played with them. Awesome. Okay, so I'm normally I would use a baby wipe, but this is a new pack of baby wipes, and the baby wipes have a little bit too much moisture in them. So I'm actually just going to take a nice clean piece of paper towel. Just going to fold it. I'm going to take my water bottle, just spray a little bit of water on there, not too much, 3 quick sprays. I am going to take my stencil. I'm going to lay it over top of my Distress crayons, and I'm just going to lift up some of that ink. Or not ink, sorry, crayon. So because we've got that barrier underneath the Distress crayon, I can wipe how easy that was, right? And all that was a clean paper towel, bit of water, stencil, and I wiped back some of that crayon. There you go. Isn't that fun? That is so much fun. Now I'm just trying to see here. I think I might have left it at the store, but there is a neutral pack of these. And by neutral, it's a 5-pack, and it's got your browns, it's got black soot, and I think it has a gray, not the brush pewter. This is a metallic one. But I love the black one. I love the black crayon for edging. But I think I left it at the store because I don't see it here. But if I had it, I don't have it here. What dark color do I have? I wonder if that would work. So I always like to edge mine. It just makes it look more finished to me. So I'm just going to take Seedless Preserves. This is just a regular crayon, not a mica crayon. We have lots of the crayons in stock, by the way. We've got, I couldn't even tell you how many sets, maybe a dozen sets of them. They don't sell them individually anymore. They used to, but now they sell them in sets. So we have probably a dozen sets of them, the 3-packs and the 5-packs. But look at that. Oh, I love it. Love, love, love. Here, I'm going to bring this one in because I didn't edge this one either. I'm going to use Seedless Preserves on that one too. Anything that allows me to get dirty fingers always makes me happy. Hey, Nancy. This is one of Nancy's most favorite stamps, isn't it? From All in Create. I brought this in because Nancy brought me in a sample. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need that stamp in my life. So thank you, Nancy. Now it's in my life, and I love you for showing it to me. Okay, so I did this, and I did that on purpose. See that? See, it's kind of messy. Now, normally, Julie would be like, oh, I love that. I'm just going to leave it. But again, if you do something like that and you're like, oh, I don't like that. No, I made a mistake. Because of the matte medium, I can come in and I can clean that up. See that? Gone. Oh, I guarantee you'll get me hooked more, Nancy. So you can see that? Matte medium, protective barrier, just a baby wipe, and I wiped it away. Right? So you're not committed when you've got that barrier down there. So now that I've cleaned it up, now it's like, oh, now I can go in. I can just put in the nice thin line that I want. Let me take my finger just like that. And there we go. Yeah, gorgeous. And they clean up pretty easily. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you now is I'm going to share how I made this one. They do. Okay, let me just highlight your question, Bev, because that's a really great question. Okay, so Bev wants to know, do they become permanent? So yes, they do, but they do take a little bit of time to become permanent. They stay a little bit, there's no wax in them. I don't even know how to describe it. But it takes probably about 24 hours to cure before they become where you can touch them and they won't rub off, basically is what I'm saying. They'll never be water safe. Like you couldn't take this outside in the rain, of course. Everything underneath the matte medium would be fine, but everything on top is still water reactive. But we're not going to take these out in the rain and be like, oh, look, you know, you're not going to do that. But it does take about 48 hours of curing time before they will stop moving. So yeah, 24 to 48 hours, depending on where you live and your humidity. So yeah, like I wouldn't do this and then put it on a present and give it to somebody because they're going to pick it up and they're going to be like, why are my hands purple? Right? So yeah, if you're thinking ahead of a card, you just need to give yourself enough time to let the crayons cure and harden, I guess is what you need to do. Let them harden, cure, that sort of thing. Okay. Linda is asking, did I put gel medium over the entire thing? Yes, I did. I stamped the image, and then I covered the entire tag with matte medium, gel medium, something like that. And then what you're doing is sealing it. Okay. How are they different? Just wait, let me hide. Nancy's asking, how do they differ from gelatos? It's been a long time since I've used gelato, so unless they've changed their formula, gelatos for me were very soft. These are a little bit harder. These are somewhere in between. Like a gelato is probably closer to a Vicky Bouton gel crayon. I find these very soft, extremely soft. So a gelato is probably even softer than the Vicky Bouton gel crayons. The Dina Wakley crayons are very hard. So these are somewhere in between. They're not too soft, they're not too hard, but a lot of the things you can do the same techniques with them. So if you have, you know what? I watched a video. Oh, sorry. I keep answering questions and you don't know what these people are saying. So let me hide that one. Charlene, can you use Distress Microglaze? No, you cannot. No, the Distress Microglaze will move it. I tried it. Yeah, I had one of these that I did with the crayons probably about a year ago. And I got it down and I thought, oh, let me just see if this will work. And it did not. So yeah, even like a year later, which it should have been cured and solid, the Distress Microglaze made it move. So I was actually kind of surprised, but yeah, it did. Okay. So there's that one, which let me just say, those are really nice. I did good. I did good. Okay, so let me share with you this one. And this is a technique that we have shared a few times. Do you know what? Do you know what I didn't do? I didn't restamp this. I just remembered I did not restamp that. So because these have a pigment in them, they're more opaque than translucent. So if you, putting this back in, I lined it up on the number 7 when I initially stamped it. So I'm going to put this back in. So if you restamp this, you're going to get, I'm just going to hold this up just to make sure. Yeah, it looks like it's lined up. You're going to get a more solid stamped image over top of the crayon. So again, I'm going in with my same Gina K, and I hope I line this up. I am off a little bit. There you go. But you can see how the ink is so much darker once I stamp it. Yes, crayons aren't just for kids. Oh my gosh. Yeah, these crayons are not for children. So there you go. I just stamped over my image and it brought back in some of that detail. So there you go. I'm going to set that aside because that'll need to be dried a little bit. Okay. Just going to put my protective cover over my sticky mat and let's do okay, so I'm going to take a tag, which my tag is already there. I'm going to take the stencil. So this is my platinum machine. So I've got my base. Okay. I've got my tan embossing mat. I'm going to put my paper down and now I'm going to put my stencil on there. And I'm actually lining up the whole of the stencil with the whole of the tag. And now I'm going to put in my embossing plate. Okay, so if you're not using a Spellbinders Platinum, you'll just need to check what the plating is for your machine to do embossing with a stencil. Okay, let me take that out. Get rid of the machine. Okay, so taking off my stencil, and now you can see I've embossed that stencil image onto my paper, which is so pretty. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, love it. Okay, so the original one I did, this one here, again, I wasn't sure I was going to share this, but I was just playing around. I'm like, oh yeah, I might as well show them this too. I'm just going to try and clean my fingers up a little bit. Okay. And dry them. So there are a couple of ways to do this. So I could take my stencil, I could put it back on, and because it's embossed, I can get it right in those same grooves, and I can go in and color them with my finger. What is the difference between the embossing plate and the rubber mat? The embossing plate is hard, and it is a different width. So Kim's asking what the difference is between the blue and the tan. This one is a different width than a cutting plate, and it works with this. So you can do the embossing with it. You can emboss with dies as well, and it won't cut through if you're using the mat and the embossing plate. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so this one isn't from one of the most recent ones. This was actually from last winter's, and I'm pretty sure we still have these in stock, the Christmas ones. So I'm just going to take some on my finger. There we go. Now I can take it and I can just gently rub over that embossed image. Okay, see how it's just picking it up? So this one takes a little bit more time, but it's still lots of fun. So I'm just going over the flowers. Now, it's not going to be perfect, right? But if you're looking for perfect, then you're watching the wrong person. I just like to create things. I don't like them to look too perfect because, you know, I just like things to look handmade, right? So all I'm doing is I'm just taking my finger, just my body heat is just softening that up, and I am just gently rubbing over those flowers. Okay. Now this is plain paper. I should have said that. This has no matte medium on it. No matte medium, just paper, because I'm not watercoloring it. If I was going to watercolor it, I would cover it in matte medium and it would move a lot faster. But I'm just taking it on my finger and I'm just going over and just using the emboss the embossing to pick up that color off of my finger. Okay, so I can keep going over and over and making it darker. There we go. Now, if I wanted to take the stencil, clean that off your finger first. If I wanted to use the stencil, I could, just trying to line it up there. There we go. So I can still use my finger. Just going to pick up some of that pigment. And then I'm going to go over and I'm going to just rub it over the stencil. If you wanted a more perfect look, then you're using your stencil as well. Okay. So you can do that as well. Okay, now I'm going to come in. Now it's not perfect. Is it perfect? Are my colors, are my flowers colored perfectly? No. Does it bother me? Not really. No. I am just having fun making, and this will probably go on a gift or, oops, I just noticed I forgot a flower. So now I'm going to come in with my green. I'm going to add some green onto those leaves. It's just fun. I love it. We're not performing open heart surgery here. We're just having fun creating, which at the end of the day is most important for our mental health. Is it not, ladies? Yes. And gentlemen, if there's any gentlemen watching, I do not discriminate against crafters. We all are crafty in our own way. Okay, so I've covered up some of those flowers, but just look how fun that is. It's just so much fun. Okay, I'm going to clean that finger off because I missed a rose. Okay. And if you have the crayons, use them. I'm just going to say that right now, use them, because I went through all of these and some of them were dried up. Now, some of these are like 4 or 5 years old, but use your stuff. Use your stuff. Don't let them get old and then you can't use them. This one is, what is this one? Vintage Photo. It's always good to have a nice brown color. So I'm just going to use that. I'm going to go over some of these. And you're just rubbing lightly enough just so that embossed image picks up that pigment off your finger. So you're not trying to press anything. You're not trying to like push things into grooves. You're just allowing your embossed image to pick that up off your finger. Oops. How fun is that? That is fun. Oh my gosh, I love it. Now, this one here, I did a little bit more work on. I did push a lot more of it through the stencil. So I don't know if you can see it, but this is actually dimensional. So how I did that, and this will probably take 4 times as long to cure as this, because this was very light. This is very thick. So how I did that, let me put my stencil back on. I'm going to concentrate on this top flower here. Is I actually took this. When you get the stencil in the right spot, don't move, Julia, don't move. There we go. So I actually took the crayon and went directly over top of that stencil. And then I took it and I just used the heat of my finger to push it all around into those grooves. Okay, so if I lift this off now, okay, so you can see the difference. There's actually some dimension to this one because I put in a thicker layer of crayon. But if you do that, you do have to know that you have to let this cure. And it's probably going to take probably 48 or 72 hours for that thick crayon to cure. Okay, so if you don't want that, you want it to cure faster, just use this gentle approach and just wipe it on. But if you have some time and you like the look of that, then you can come and just take this. Let me do the green one so you can see that. And remember I said that this one, I did not put matte medium on it. So once this crayon's on, I have committed. It won't shift on this paper. There you go. So another leaf, but it's darker because I put this crayon on through the stencil. And there you go. So just another cool way to use your stencils and with your crayons. So if anyone's wondering, do I prefer the Distress crayons over the Distress Mica crayons? No, I don't prefer one over the other. I love the look of the mica. I love the shimmer that you get with it. But I also like the other ones. So this color through here is the Decayed, and that is a mica crayon. So it does have the shimmer in it. So if I was to tip it, I don't know if you can see it in the light, but it does have a shimmery look to it. But just look how beautifully it watercolors. Like, I just love it. It's amazing. So there you go. Just a short demo using Distress crayons. So I didn't have a chance to show this. So on my next Monday Night Live, I'm actually going to talk about just using Stencil Butters because this was super fun. Now, there won't be a Monday Night Live next week because Glenn and I are going out of town. So there will not be a Monday Night Live next week, but I will return the week after with a Monday Night Live, and that one will all be about Stencil Butters, the lovely Stencil Butters. So that's it for me. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you had a great time. I hope you learned something, and get your crayons out and just start playing and having fun. And I'm just going to come back to my front camera. There we go. There I am. There you go. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're looking for this video, again, the easiest place to find it is on our YouTube channel. So go give our YouTube channel a follow. And you can find all of my Monday Night Live videos under the playlist on our YouTube channel that says Monday Night Live. And you can go back. This was episode 24. So if you missed any, they're all there. You can check them out. And like I said, I hope you learned something. Have a great evening, everyone. Take care. Bye.